Okay, we can get things going now, I think. Good morning and welcome to the Committee of Adjustment hearings for Rural Panel 3. We are a City of Ottawa quasi-judicial tribunal that holds public hearings to consider Planning Act applications, including minor variances to the zoning requirements and consent to sever land. Our hearings are now in person at Ben Franklin Place, 101 Centerpoint Drive. We also enable remote participation by video conferencing for our registered speakers. We are live streaming on YouTube and the video will be archived and available for future viewing by the public. My name is Bill Hunter. I'll be chairing today's hearings and you can address me by my name or as chair. With me are panel members to my left, Jocelyn Chander, further left, Martin Vervoort, to my right, Beth Henderson, and to my far right, Terry Otto. The procedure for the hearings will be as follows. Listed on the agenda and appearing on screen from time to time are the applications we'll hear today. For the sake of efficiency, I may deal with the agenda items in a different order. Panel members have reviewed the planning reports and any written submissions in support or in opposition to each of the applications. Today, we'll hear any oral submissions relating to the applications. The panel may ask for a brief presentation of an application, followed by questions for the applicant and city planning staff. We will then hear from members of the public who have registered to speak, and we may also have questions from them. Finally, the applicant, who has the burden of proof, will have an opportunity to make final comments in reply. Please address your comments to me as the chair, starting with your name and spelling if necessary, and your municipal address for the record. All presentations are limited to 5 minutes. Any exceptions will be at my discretion. At the end of the hearing, the panel may either make an oral decision or we may reserve our decision, which means it won't be delivered today. In either case, and within 10 days, the Committee of Adjustment will send the official written decision and reasons for it to all parties, participants, and anyone else who has requested a copy. Does anyone have any questions about the procedures we'll be following today? All right, then we have several applications to hear today, but first we need to deal with some preliminary and procedural matters. Are there any declarations of interest? No, there are none. Are there previous meetings to be confirmed? No.
No, they're
No.
previous
Okay,
minutes.
thank you. Next, withdrawal or adjournment requests. We've received several requests to adjourn, which means to postpone to a different day the hearing for the item. I would like to start with our list on the adjournments. And the first one I have is item number 1, which is 3456 Donnelly. And could I hear from planning staff about that adjournment request, please?
Yes, thank you, Chair. So we're requesting an adjournment because the applicant has submitted an application that is within 500 meters of the bedrock resource overlay, and they have not submitted an MRIA in support. We're also objecting based on the official plan policies for rural severances. An omnibus bill was submitted, but until the bill is in effect, we're still going to be objecting to those.
So there are the two grounds then for asking for an adjournment, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes, thank you. The applicant, I think it's by remote. Yes, Ms. Zander, would you like to comment, please?
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I understand the requirement for an MRIA. I hope the committee would consider moving this forward and including that as a condition of consent approval, and then my client and I can work through that study. So I would ask the committee to consider hearing this today.
Okay, we're not going to hear the merits of it. We can set this down and hear the merits of it. But are you saying that you don't want it adjourned then?
Correct. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Okay. Well, let's set that one down. Item number 2. Yes,
I just wondered what planning's position was on that, if it's just included as a condition.
yes, good question. Thank you, Mr. Bearwood.
I think planning would be okay with having it as a condition.
Okay, so then there's just the one reason to have it adjourned, and that's because of the error in the OP, is that correct? Any comments, planning members, panel members?
Let's hear it.
So we will set that down for to be heard. Number 2, 1380 Howie. Again, planning has asked for an adjournment. Could you speak to that, please?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we've requested an adjournment for 2 reasons today for the 1380 Howie. One is because of the official plans, rural severance policies, that the official plan amendment is yet to be out of the appeal period. So we're still objecting on that basis. As well, this application included several studies that that the planning department's position would depend on reviewing these studies in advance of hearing the application. So we cannot provide a level of support at this point until these studies have been reviewed.
Okay. Can I hear from the applicant, please?
Yes, so.
Sorry, could I have your name first, please, sir?
Tom Carroll.
Tom Carroll? Okay.
Okay. So do you have any timelines as far as?
Well, we need a microphone, Mr. Carroll.
Oh, okay.
If you could start again, please, sir.
Okay, Tom Carroll, and this is my wife Lois. We own the property. Is there a timeline for an adjournment like this?
Mr. Chair, we could, planning would not request this to be adjourned sine die. We could choose a specific date, so recirculation would not be required. And we would be comfortable with the date of, is there a session at the end of October or the first session of November? About a month would be our request.
Could I hear from you, Mr. Carroll, about those dates, please?
Okay, that would be fine, I guess. Now, are we, there's other questions I have as far as there's going to be a road built here. Are we going to be able to be issued a building permit without the road being built? Or is that
A building permit for the northern lot would not be able to be issued until the road is constructed. The severance would not be approved until the road is constructed. So the building permit would have to wait until the severance approval, and the severance approval would have to wait until the road construction is complete.
okay? So the road construction has to be approved, like my engineer, you approve it?
It has to be,
Well, is this something we could talk about if it's adjourned,
yes.
rather than getting into the merits of it? If we could
Well-
adjourn it for, say, 4 weeks? That'd be
Yeah.
into November,
Yeah, I guess that would be fine.
and then you could meet with planning staff and
Okay.
review these types of things. Is
Okay,
that okay, Mr. Carroll?
I guess that would be okay.
And planning, is that
Is it-
okay? Planning
That's all right with planning.
and panel members, is that okay?
So it's about 4 weeks?
Well, what would be the date for 4 weeks?
October 31st would be the hearing.
Or, so that's back here?
It'd be
That's right.
back here on Halloween, October 31st.
Okay, I guess that'll have to do. Okay,
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Carroll.
Yeah.
Thank you. Could we hear the next one, 2886 Mackey? And planning, you've asked for an adjournment? Could you speak to that, please? It's number 3, 2886 Mackey, item number 3.
Yeah, so planning is requesting an adjournment for the OP policies again for this one.
Okay, no other reasons?
No other reasons, no.
Okay. Ms. Zander, I think you're on this. Could I hear your views, please?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, of course, I would ask the committee to proceed to consider this one today. since the only reason for the adjournment request from staff is that technicality with your official plan. So I would ask you to proceed with the consideration of this file today. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, well, members of the panel, we set that down then to deal with it. Everybody good with that? Okay. We will deal with that, Ms. Sander, a little bit later on in the process. Number 4 is 5689 loggers. And planning, you've asked for an adjournment. And is there well, maybe is it the same thing about the OP?
Mr. Chair, this is a different request for an adjournment. This is a minor variance request that was received previously, and staff have requested an adjournment to correct some of the issues with the minor variance, and to ensure that the minor variance covers everything that the applicant requires in order to receive a building permit.
Okay. And could I hear the applicant on this? I know we need, we need an oath for the signed declaration, but if it's going to be adjourned, we don't need that today. Is the applicant in accordance with the request to adjourn this? C. Kubiski, remote agent for the applicant, Caitlin.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. That's how things work with all this.
Yeah, I missed the last, 30 seconds of what you guys were just talking about while I was rejoining.
Yeah, you okay with having this adjourned, I guess is the question.
We would like to proceed with today. I feel like a lot of the comments from zoning are making it seem like we're building a new building, when in fact the garage is already existing. So when it comes to the sideline setbacks and whatnot, we have an existing site plan that was approved by West Carleton in '99. So it's an existing building and we just plan to build up. The goal is just to create more storage for Jennifer, who's moving home to take care of her parents. It's a slab on grade house, so there's not a lot of room for her to move in all her
Okay, well, let's,
so
sorry to interrupt, but we can.
no, that's fine.
Ms. Chandler, do you have a comment?
I want to make sure.
Turn on your microphone, please.
I just want to make sure that the agent understands that although you may have a site plan approved by West Carleton and the building may have legal non-conforming rights, if that's the case, that doesn't change the fact that if we give you a variance for what you're requesting, that you'll get a building permit. You may have to come back and pay for more minor variances or more permissions. And it's often in the best interest of the agent or applicant to actually get this sorted with planning first. It would save you money and time. So just for you to consider that in wanting to proceed.
What would the adjournment be like? How long are we adjourning this for?
Well, it could be sine die, I mean, a fixed date, but we don't know how long it would take to sort these out. So usually it's sine die, but planning, what were your thoughts about the length of an adjournment?
My recommendation would be to adjourn this sine die due to my comments that some sections of the zoning bylaw were not correctly addressed. So recirculation may be required. And also there are materials and evidence that from the applicant to provide a full opinion. So however long it takes the applicant to provide those materials, we cannot anticipate how long that could take. So my recommendation is for sine die.
Okay, the applicant, could I hear from you on that, please? Are you okay with sine die?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Panel members, any other comments? For sine die? Thank you very much. Appreciate your assistance on this. Okay, the next adjournment item is number 6, 1444 Dwyer Hill. And planning, could you indicate the request for an adjournment, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The request for this adjournment is strictly for the rural severance policy error. There are no other concerns with this application.
And I see Mr. Robinson is here. Could I have your comments, please, Mr. Robinson?
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. We'd like to proceed today. This official plan policy issue has been in the works for a year and a half. It was approved by Planning Committee and Council in August and September, and I believe there's about 9 days left on the appeal. And to my understanding, there's no indication that it's going to be appealed, and it'll go through as being final and binding in about 9 days. And as indicated by some of the other presenters today, we would like to also proceed today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any comments, panel members? Okay, we will set this down then and deal with it.
Thank you.
Number 8, 4446 Stonecrest. Again, Mr. Graham, if you could indicate the reason for the request to adjourn, please.
Thank you, Chair. Stonecrest, we have the same request for adjournment due to the official plan policy errors. No other reasons for the adjournment request.
And Ms. Sander, could I hear from you, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, I'm hoping the committee will proceed with this one based on that official plan technicality. So I'd ask you to proceed today. Thank you.
Panel members, okay with setting this down? We'll deal with it today. Okay. Number 9 is 6 White Cedar. Again, a request to adjourn from Planning Department. Mr. Graham, could you indicate that, please?
Thank you, Chair. This application was previously heard 2 weeks ago, and I requested the adjournment then. I've maintained the request, and I believe the applicant is in agreement with this request. We've resolved one of the issues with the right-of-way comments. However, there are still concerns about the variance being correctly addressed on the form. So I'll be meeting with the applicant this week to address those issues. But at this point, I would not be comfortable moving forward with this application today.
Would that be an adjournment Sine Dyer asking for?
I would be comfortable again adjourning this another 2 weeks, and then at that point, with understanding of the applicant, at that point we may need to have recirculation. So, but we may not. So, 2 weeks would be appropriate at this point.
Okay, could I hear from the agent of the applicant, Mr. Reno, please?
Thank you, Chair, committee members. I support that decision for another 2-week adjournments. I do believe that we should be able to resolve this without recirculation. And just as it'll be conforming with the building code items and not minor variance bylaws.
Okay, so we have a consent to adjourn for 2 weeks. Panel members, okay with that? Thank you. That's adjourned then for 2 weeks.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Okay, going back.
Mr. Chair, sorry, just to clarify, that would be the October 17th hearing.
Oh, so is that 2 weeks?
That's 2 weeks, yes. October 17th.
Okay, you want the date on the record?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. So it's October 17th. Thank you. Could we go back to deal with the adjournment request? Then item number 1 would be 3466 Donnelly.
Mr. Chair, application number 7 on the unopposed list. Will be
May
next.
have a look. Unopposed. Thank you. So item number 7 is unopposed, I'm advised. And item number 7 is 4616 Donnelly. And any comments planning on that? No problems?
Planning has no problems with the application as submitted.
Okay, is the applicant or the agent of the applicant here? It's unopposed, I guess. Members of the panel, any questions? Can we grant this, members of the panel?
Yeah.
Okay, we will grant that then. Thank you very much.
Good day, Mr. Chair. Sorry about that.
Oh,
This is Martin Desjardins.
Okay,
Sorry, I am here. Little technicality problems.
okay. Could you hear us, sir, when we
Yes, we
don't?
can.
Okay, so it's unopposed
Perfect.
and it's granted.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
So we
Okay. Whoop. Can we go to number one then, please? 3455 Donnelly. And Miss Zander.
Here we are. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So my client and I have reviewed the staff report. We understand the technicality around the official plan and hope that will not hold up a decision. Staff have referenced the minimum distance separation calculations. I spent quite a bit of time with my client's neighbors, various farm owners, and we did an extensive review of agricultural buildings in proximity to the subject property. You will see on my sketch, there is a livestock facility directly across the road. And so we've considered that in the size and orientation of the severed lots. We did evaluate quite a few other buildings nearby, and I'm fairly confident that we've addressed all of the livestock buildings that are in place and that need to be evaluated. The staff report references the severance number 2 and whether that severance could be better located on Harnett Road. I have discussed that with my client. If you look at an air photo of the property, you will see the lands to the north of the 2 severed lots. On the retained land are agricultural fields. My client does rent those fields out for hay production, and so is not keen on moving one of the severed lots over to the Harnett Road frontage because it takes away some of the lands for agricultural production. Where we have shown severance 2 in the southeast corner of the subject property, that is just kind of a tight area on the site that is not great for production. So that is the reason why we've put severance 2 in the southeast corner, rather than taking up some of the frontage on Harnett Road, which also takes away the agricultural fields. And as we discussed it in the beginning of the meeting, we understand the requirement for the MRIA, and my client's agreeable to completing that as a condition if the committee is open to that. And it sounds like staff are open to that requirement as a condition as well. So I think that's all I wanted to address. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, planning, could I have a response, please? Mr. Nick?
Yes, thank you, Chair. So I think planning would be supportive of what they've requested. It can be challenging for an MRA to show no impacts. That would be my only concern, but we're happy to keep it as a condition.
No other problems with it?
No.
No, okay. Members of the panel? Any other questions? Yes, Mr. Otto.
Just one question in regards to the MDS. Are you happy with the MDS calculations? Do they actually fall within the required categories to keep clearance from the livestock barns? If so, then that's the question.
Yes.
But we'll find out about that when the MDS is done. Right?
No, it's the MRA.
MRA, excuse me.
Yeah, no, the MDS has been done. MRA still needs
that's
to be
it.
done. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or comments, members of the panel? No? Can we approve this? Can we grant it? Okay, granted. Thank you
Mr.
very
Chair.
much. Ms.
Sorry,
Zander.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair,
Yes,
could we just do a call out to make sure there's no one that wanted to speak to this application in the audience?
okay. Anyone else that wishes to speak to this, either in the audience or remote? I don't see anybody else. I'm not hearing anything. Do we have any indication that there's a remote?
No, we don't, but just in case someone does want to speak to an application.
Okay. So number 2 is adjourned. Number 3, 2886 Mackey. Ms. Zander, would you like to deal with that, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this application is for a single severance in the northeast corner of the property at 2886 Mackey Road. We did have discussion with staff and have shown on the sketch prepared by my office a building envelope that is set back appropriately from the natural heritage features that are shown on the city's mapping, the woodland and a local wetland pocket. And staff, at least in our preliminary discussions, appeared to accept that building envelope sketch. As with the previous application, there was quite a lot of work done to speak to livestock facilities in the area. So an MDS calculation was done and a report produced for this application to demonstrate appropriate setbacks from nearby livestock facilities. My client and I have reviewed the conditions. I do have a couple of minor questions about the conditions, but otherwise I have no issues as presented and happy to answer any questions that you may have. I can pose my questions now or save them as you wish, Mr. Chair.
Well, if you could, you say you had questions about the conditions or comments. I wonder if you could deal with those now, Ms. Sander, please.
Yes, I sure can. So I'm looking at another screen here. So there's a condition that talks about putting that building envelope sketch into the development agreement. And I certainly have no issues with that. Just wanted to clarify with staff through you, Mr. Chair, will the sketch that's already been produced by my office, which is to scale and includes the city's official plan layers and natural heritage designations, is that going to be sufficient to meet the requirement of a building envelope sketch? Or will staff be looking for something else?
Could I just ask staff to deal with that, then we'll get back to you, Ms. Sander? Could I have your thoughts on that, Mr. Lipp?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So staff would be looking just to have that sketch used to delineate the boundaries that we're looking for in the agreement. Yeah, so that would be sufficient for us.
Okay, so do we need that condition left in then?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Is that okay, Ms. Sander?
Yes, absolutely. I don't have any issue with the condition. Just wondered if staff were looking for something else or if my sketch as submitted was going to be sufficient, but I got an answer to that. Thank you. And if I may, I do have one other question that is related to the condition about road widening. This property has frontage on Mackey Road where the severance is proposed, but also has frontage at the south end on Cowell Road. And so I'm asking if the committee would consider removing the requirement for road widening on the Cowell Road end of the property. That is not where the severance is being proposed. So I understand the requirement for road widening on the Mackey Road end on the severed lot and even on the retained lot, but asking your consideration of not requiring road widening on the Cowell Road and the south end of this property.
And Mr. Left, comments?
Yes, so city staff always request a road widening on both the severed and retained in the instance of a severance application. So we want to still have it left in.
Okay. Ms. Sander, your thoughts on that? Planning wants it left in.
Understood. That is the answer expected, but I wanted to ask the question. Thank you.
Okay, if it's left in, are you okay with that condition then?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, Ms. Sander?
No, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Members of the panel, any thoughts or comments? Okay, can we pass it in accordance with the conditions then? Yes, okay, it's granted. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we're moving up to five. Number 5. 3026 Regional Road 174. Somebody here on that item? Yes, sir. Hi, do you want to come up here and have a seat and turn on the microphone and?
Good morning, Chair and everyone. Yeah, I'm the designer for this project, and we are proposing to Sorry, because yesterday I prepared a PPT. Oh, yeah.
Could I just get your name for the record, sir?
Oh, my name is Peter Tsai.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, next page, please. Yeah, okay. I think this property is located on some kind of like a peninsula, and there are some the previous severance of like 5 or 6 lots with very similar shape, and we next please. Yeah, this subject property has a 4 hectare area, and with some water frontage towards the Ottawa River, and the fronting on the regional road 174, and currently all the 5 parcels. There's only one big house on the west side of the property, and the east side is currently mostly are vacant, and the rear portion of the property is within the floodplain, and also the Conservation Authority regulated area. Next page, please. Okay, this is the property zoning. Current zoning is RU. Next. So the on this page, you can see the green overlay is the Conservation Authority regulated area, and the front is unregulated area. So we're proposing to build a custom home in the unregulated area. Next page, please. So according to the zoning bylaw, we have from interior side yard setback is 10 meters, front yard is 10 meters, and there is a top of bank, and we set back 30 meters from the top of bank. So the yellow area is the buildable area. Next page, please. So we're proposing to constructing a 3-story custom home with a 4-car garage and a secondary unit on the west side. This is a site plan. So we have a driveway into the house. Actually is located quite back, and the house was rotated a little bit to try to have a more view towards the Ottawa River. And the okay, I think next page. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, these are the floor plans. So you see from the right side is the main primary dwelling, with it's actually it's a kind of quite a spacious design with okay. So with a lot of glass towards the backyard, and on the left side is a 2-bedroom secondary unit for the owner's parent. Next page. There's a second floor plan. The garage portion only one story height, and the secondary unit is 2-story. And the right side is a 4-bedroom on the second floor plan with 2-story height living room and foyer space. Second page, next page, please. This is a 3rd story because we're gonna use we're gonna do some green roof with some landscape green vegetation on the roof, and so we we add a small loft on top of the roof. One is to enjoy the view to the river because there are trees back. So, because this is a very good property with nice view. So the owner want to enjoy the view of the river. And also we need to do some daily maintenance for the green roof. Next page, please. This is the basement. The basement is a walkout from the backyard because the site we're gonna do some site grading to make the backyard a little lower. Actually, the existing lot is has a natural slope towards the river, so it helps. Next page, please. Okay, this is the front, the rendering from the front. The design is quite contemporary, mainly use stone and wood and some metal cladding and big glasses. So it's quite and also the staircase is kind of architectural element to have some articulation on the look. The next page, please. So this from this view, we can see the roof garden. So I think this can be can merge the house into the environment. So it's not like a huge blank roof, but with some green to merge the building into the environment. Next page, please. This is the backyard. So you can see a lot of glass, and also have an outdoor swimming pool. But the whole construction is happening outside the Conservation Authority regulated area. Next page. So this is the area view, just a rendering merged into the photo. So the mass of the geometry of the house, it's quite modest. It's not like very huge or very exaggerated. So it's has very little impact on the whole environment. Next page, please. Yeah. So as to the zoning bylaw compliances, we follow all the setback requirements, coverage requirements, and the only minor variance we required is the building height. The required is 12 meters, and we require like 12.9 meters something, just a little bit over the limit. So that's what. Any question?
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Just before I ask planning for the comments, I note that there is a concern by Gautam Shah. Is that gentleman or lady online? Yes, sir. You have a concern with this application, I understand.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and the committee members. Thank you very much for allowing us to participate. I appreciate it. And I'm here with my wife as well, who is the owner of the adjacent property that you just saw on the presentation. I have given the committee all my points of views, with regards to this development. This development has actually ruined and it seems like this development has gone through everything that we believe in terms of the environment, and they have cut down 10 acres of trees, and those clear cutting of those trees are affecting our trees, and they have been cut in the conservation area, which is the like this property should have at least 5 to 6 acres in the floodplain area. These have been clear cut. The water is all coming into our property now. There is no drainage plan. They have already raised the property without any permit, without any consideration for the adjacent property. So the land has already been raised by 6 to 8 feet without any permit, and all the trees have been cut. And all the not only our trees are being affected, our shoreline is being eroded because of the trees that have been cut in the floodplain area. So this is a blatant development that has been happening for 1 year. I have been calling the authorities. Unfortunately, I have not been able to get any response, neither from RCVA nor from the city, unfortunately. And now it is the time to put a stop to all this. And on top of it, right, not only like the land has been raised, and which is actually affecting our property, all the water is coming into our property without any drainage plan. And on top of it, there is a height being asked to be raised on top of what has already been done. So it is not already 6 to 8 feet has been added to the existing grading, and on top of it, they are asking for even more, right? So I am gonna be vehemently opposing this application for requesting this kind of variance without city going through this application and making sure that this development is being done right, because this is a blatant disregard for our environment. This is a blatant disregard for our development, what we all believe in the city. Thank you very much. This is what I have to say, and I can answer any questions if anybody has.
Just so I can be sure, where is your property in relation to this property?
This is on the east side of our property is the east side of the property which is being developed. So we are adjacent on the east side. So we share a property line between ourselves.
Yes.
And also we share a right of way, that is city allowed right of way, which has been in such a disrepair because of this development is happening. This is an accident waiting to happen for our family members, because this driveway is in such a bad disrepair right now, and I cannot do anything because it belongs to the property owner next to us, but we do have the right of way to use it, but it's in such a disrepair. And so this is all, sorry, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just have one more question. The panel members may have more, and we want to hear from planning too. But where were these trees that you say were cut down? Could you sort of give an approximate location? You might have already done that.
The whole property, 10 acres. The person you just mentioned that 4 hectares, the 4 hectares, every single tree in that 4 hectares have been cut down. Every single tree, all the way up to the property line, that we share. So this is a very blatant disregard of our the way the things are supposed to be developed, and especially on a very sensitive land, a floodplain, and there's nothing that was done.
Could I hear from planning on this, please?
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, can I just?
And just one more thing,
Sorry,
Mr. Chair,
Shaw?
just to.
Mr. Shaw, just speak for a second, please. I just need to confirm the names of the neighbors. Mr. Chair.
Oh, my name? My name is Gautam Shaw, and my wife's name is Geeta Chowdhury. We are the co-owners of our property.
You okay with that? Okay. Could I hear from planning?
Yeah, so unfortunately, the trees on the property are not covered by tree bylaw, so there's nothing that could be done there, unfortunately. In terms of issues with the driveway, I believe that would be addressed through our right-of-way department. And the issues with grading would be addressed in the building permit, which I believe hasn't been submitted yet.
Sorry, the issues of grading,
Yes,
is that the elevation of the
Yes,
land?
that's
Is
the
that what you're
elevation.
talking about?
Yeah.
And that would be dealt with how, sir?
at the building permit stage.
The building permit stage.
Yeah.
Okay, just a minute. We'll get back to you, Mr. Shaw. Okay, we're not going to cut you off. I just want to hear from the applicant's agent, Mr. Kai.
Could you turn your microphone on, please?
Oh, I received, actually, we cut these trees. We actually already informed the conservation authority, and they did the site view on July 12th this year. And they discovered no issues, what we're doing now. And I have the email from the conservation authority to confirm that it's illegal.
That it's legal?
It's legally done. Yeah.
Members of the panel, any comments or questions? Yes, Mr. Vervoort.
I understand there's some concerns from the neighbors, but it seems to me that the only thing before us really is the one requested variance to increase the height. So I don't know that that we can, and in my opinion anyway, it seems to meet the 4 tests under the Planning Act. So those would be my comments on this application.
Planning your comments on Mr. Vervoort's comment, please.
Yeah, planning has no concerns with the requested minor variance as submitted.
Okay, back to Mr. Shaw. Sir, did you understand that our authority or our involvement is very limited? In other words, we're just asked to confirm or not confirm whether a minor variance should be granted towards the height of the building. That's all.
I understand it, Mr. Chair, and I just wanted to bring it up to your attention. And even with the minor variance, since the property has already graded and it is already affecting our property is being flooded right now as we speak. And when this house is going to be built and when this building permit will be issued, but by that time, we will be the one feeling the grunt of this development. So if the grading is already happening for 1 year, where is the city to make sure that there is done right? So this is what I'm asking. I understand this is the variance application, and the variance application, I was not allowed to have a height. I had asked for it, and I was not allowed to have it. And so I would object to anybody being granted, because if I was not allowed, how come this next door somebody's being allowed to do that? So I would like to have the city to make sure that our property is not being impacted adversely, and all these development that has happened so far, the trees have been cut and the grading has happened. It's not part of the building permit. They have already done the work and they have already created a havoc for us. So it's not the question of building permit. It is the question of how do you protect as a city? Am I protected? Our property is protected because of this development happening. So this is what I'm asking for your help to make sure that this is done right. Yes, I understand this is a variance thing, but.
Sorry, we have your concerns, sir. We have your concerns. You may have other, remedies that you can look at, but this hearing, I don't believe this is one, but Ms. Chandler may have a question or comment.
Thank you. Just to repeat Mr. Vervoort's point, we can only look at the building height and to provide a little bit of direction to you. The drainage plan, the responsibility for controlling drainage on property rests with the city through the building permit process. The applicant has to submit a grading and drainage plan, and that is the time at which it will be reviewed. And they do have a responsibility not to dump additional water onto your property, but that is the appropriate place for that review to happen. And you may wish to make an inquiry with the building services at the City of Ottawa and draw their attention to this. But it's outside of our purview.
Thank you.
May I ask a quick question then? Like, until that city building, this building might take like years to build, for example. And what happens when already the grading has been done, and including the floodplain, right? Which is, I was told that by RVCA that should not be any grading allowed in the floodplain. Forget about the trees, right? So what happens to our property? Meanwhile, while these people have already raised this by 6 to 8 feet, and our property is being flooded right now as we speak. So what do I do? So I would like that.
We're not here to give advice in that area. That's not our area of expertise or skill. I'm sorry, we just can't. You may have other remedies, either through the city or through the civil courts. I don't know. But we can't assist you any further. It's just a question of the minor variance, which we will talk about in a minute. But that's as far as we can go. So thank you very much. I appreciate your input. Were there any other comments from anybody that we know? Panel members, any thoughts? No? Everybody in favor, panel members? Yep. Favor? Yeah. Okay, it's granted. The application is granted. Thank you, Mr. Shaw.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Very disappointed, but sorry to hear that.
I'm sorry?
Very disappointed, Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you. Say it again.
No, I'm saying like I'm very disappointed by the city to
No, okay.
sorry.
Could we look at number 6, please? 1444 Dwyer Hill. And again, planning has requested a adjournment. And is that because of the OP situation, or are there other reasons?
Thank you, Chair. The only request for the adjournment is because of the official plan policies.
Mr. Robinson, could we hear from you now?
Yes, we'd like to proceed as we believe that the official plan policies are going to be rectified in a few days. It's been a year and a half and there's been many adjournments that have been requested, and my understanding is that they've been heard by the committee. So we'd like to proceed on that basis. And I do have a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation that I'd like the coordinator to put up, please. Thank you. Next page, please. So this is.
I'm not sure that we need that.
Okay.
I am advised, though, that you may not agree to all the conditions.
Sure. Can
So
talk.
maybe you could, if you wouldn't mind, sir, if you could go right to the conditions.
Perfect.
Tell us what you agree with and what you don't agree.
We agree with 1, 3, and 6. 1 is cash in lieu of parkland. 3 is a karst topography warning clause in a development agreement. 6 is a geotechnical a study about the aquifer, and we believe that the items that are in item 6 that are going to be put into a development agreement could remove the need to have number 2, which is talking about the quantity and quality of groundwater. So we'd like item 2, condition 2 to be removed because we feel that condition 6 covers it. Condition 4 is about road widenings. We are in agreement with a road widening to be provided once it's been surveyed in the field on the 2 lots that are to be created that have frontage on Dwyer Hill Road. The retained property has its frontage on both Dwyer Hill Road and also on Crawford Side Road. So the issue with that is we prefer not to have the road widening undertaken along the retained parcel along Dwyer Hill Road, and don't really see the need to have a road widening provided along Crawford Side Road. It is obviously the retained land is not having any new development on it. Crawford Side Road is a gravel road. It's about 350 meters in length, of which 300 meters are my client's property. The remaining 50 meters approximately is where there are two houses, one on the north and south end of the road, and it's a dead end after that, which leads into a wetland. So we don't really see the possibility of that road ever being any wider than it is. And we don't want to have our client undertake that surveying exercise on the retained parcel on Crawford Side Road, definitely. And if possible, also to remove the need to do the road widening along the portion on the retained land along Dwyer Hill Road. I think the final condition we'd like to talk about is number 5. It's saying that a noise attenuation study is to be done to address highway noise on proposed lot 3, which is one of the lots to be created. That lot does abut the eastbound off-ramp and the westbound on-ramp from Dwyer Hill Road to Highway 7. And then there is an indication that the study that the planning department would like our client to do is to address concerns related to the railway corridor for the proposed retained lot. South of the south edge of the property is Crawford Side Road, and then beyond that is what is identified in the official plan as a railway corridor. Up until about 1990, it was a railway. And goes. I know it goes from Carleton Place through this property. It goes to Stittsville, Canada, Bell's Corners. My house backs onto this railway corridor in Canada, and the railway was removed in about 1990. Hasn't been a railway since then. It's part of the Trans-Canada Trail. People walk and cycle on it. So to have a noise warning clause or a noise study, I don't know what you would be modeling in terms of train noise there. There's no indication that there will be a train at any point any time in the future there. So we would like the noise warning, anything to do with the railway noise, removed. And we don't see, based on the fact that the condition is only making reference to highway noise to lot 3. We would not want any issues related to noise to be on lot 2, which is the smaller of the 2 lots to be created. And in place of a noise study, would prefer a noise warning clause to indicate that there's a highway in the area. A noise study is going to indicate likely that a home to be built on the lot 3 would need central air conditioning. And as well, it would also require a certain specification of window, which all homes these days, single family homes in this area, would be built with central air conditioning anyway. And the specification of windows that's usually spec'd is at the standard level of windows for this area. I believe the distance is, we're talking in the hundreds of meters between the eastbound off-ramp of Highway 7 and any location that would be on the lot 3 for the new house. So it's a long way, and we'd prefer to have a noise warning clause. So the conditions that we'd like to talk about would be conditions 2, 4, and 5. And I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Planning, could we have a response, please?
Thank you, Chair. With regards to condition 2, the notice on title for groundwater quality and quantity, that notice on title would be part of a development agreement that would cover the karst notice on title as well as any notices on title required from the hydrology report. This is a consistently asked for condition, and it would be accomplished at the same time as the notices on title for the other situation. So we would still recommend that that condition be included. As for road widening, we would be amenable to amending the condition to not asking for road widening for Crawford Side Road. However, we would ask for the entire frontage of Dwyer Hill to be surveyed still, and any necessary widening to be included there. Finally, for the noise study, The requirement for these noise studies is clear in the official plan within proximity to provincial highways or railway corridors. In the condition, I did note which properties these conditions would apply to. The railway corridor is currently an active transportation corridor, but it's owned by the City of Ottawa and designated as a corridor for any potential future railway expansion. So the noise study would have to address potential railway noise, not current railway noise, and mitigation measures deemed necessary through that study would be required to be adhered to.
How would a noise warning on title, would that be satisfactory to the planning department?
The official plan policy requires a noise study, so I would have to request that the noise study be completed.
Okay. Members of the panel, any comments? Questions? Yes, Mr. Oh, sorry, Ms. Anderson.
Oh, sorry, maybe I missed it. Condition number 6. The adequacy of the aquifer report. The
I
applicant.
believe the applicant was agreeable to condition number 6 and stated that condition 6 in his mind covered the requirements for condition number 2.
Right, so condition number 2 will be removed.
I would like condition number 2 to remain. The development agreement process would encompass the notices on title for groundwater, karst topography, and anything deemed necessary through the hydrology report at the same time. So I would still prefer that condition to be included.
So condition number 2, you would like to maintain. Condition number 6 will be incorporated in the clearance of condition number 2. In the report, is that what you're saying?
I am requesting no changes to condition number 2 and number 6. And my stance for that is due to the fact that there's nothing in condition 6 that requires us to put this notice on title for quality or quantity and the city guaranteeing that. That's a different, the hydrology report will address any water quality issues, but not specifically this sort of guarantee notice. But those things can be accomplished at the same time, but we still need the separate conditions.
Any other comments, members? Mr. Vervoort.
Just a question for planning regarding the noise attenuation studies. I thought there was a, when we're dealing with these rural areas, is there a sort of a short form report or whatever that can be done? I thought that a couple of years ago that planning had sort of streamlined that whole process a little bit. Maybe you can just explain that.
Unfortunately, I'm not too familiar with that streamlined report. The condition says to this, the report must be completed to the satisfaction of our department. So if that streamlined report has been acceptable in the past, it will still be acceptable. But I'm not aware of those requirements specifically, and engineering would have to be in touch with the applicant about any necessary requirements.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. Mr. Chair, I think maybe I would suggest maybe we stand this down and discuss the conditions. I don't have any problem with the application, but it may be worthwhile for us to discuss.
Yeah, I just have a question. Sorry. Yeah, I just have a question though. Number 4, the road widening, you did go over that. I'm not certain that I understood what your comments were. Could you repeat those, please?
So the property has frontage on Dwyer Hill Road as well as Crawford Side Road. The applicant has requested that the retained lands, which are on the corner of those 2 roads, not be included as part of the survey, which would then mean that the retained frontage on Dwyer Hill Road would not be subject to road widening. I am agreeable that Crawford Side Road can be removed from the condition, but I would still request that the entire frontage of Dwyer Hill be surveyed and that any necessary widening is taken.
Yeah, condition 4, I guess where I was having the difficulty, Crawford Side Road is not mentioned in condition 4, it's just Dwyer Hill. That was what I have.
The report I submitted includes Crawford Side Road.
I was looking at the summary. Okay. Okay, any other questions, members of the committee? Mr. Robinson, any comments?
Thank you. In terms of the noise issue, I don't know how you can do a study on railway noise for a railway that doesn't exist, and there's no indication of how often a train will come by, how many trains a day, and how fast they will be going. And it's to protect it's to provide, to do a noise study for a house that has been there for 30 or 40 years. In the official plan, and it was on one of my presentation materials, there's a 300-meter buffer. And the house in question is about almost 500 meters away from the railway, the Trans-Canada Trail, to be frank. That's what it is. It's a cycling path that's part of a national trail that is not to be used for railways. So it would take a lot of policies would have to be overridden to put a railway line back there when it's now used for people's cycling and walking. So I don't know what the purpose is of any railway warning clauses on the retained parcel. And we prefer that a noise warning clause be for the to be severed land, and it would be for lot 3 only. And as many people in front of this committee ask, the less we can have in terms of development agreements, the better. They're taking months and months and months to get processed and accepted by the city legal department. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Chandler?
I need a little bit of clarification here, and maybe Mr. Robinson, it would help if
You
that
turn on your
page-
microphone,
Sorry.
please.
I've gotten a little bit confused. Would it be possible for the coordinator to put up the presentation page that shows the setbacks, how they relate to the severed properties? And my question to planning is, what is the trigger for a noise study specifically, like the distance? I know it's development, but what is the distance trigger within the OP?
The distance trigger in this scenario is within excuse me, I'm just double checking here. So there are different triggers for rail. There's 75 meters for an active railway line, any development within that, and a principal main railway line is 500 meters. Those definitions aren't written in the official plan, so it's difficult to give you a straight answer about what a principal main railway line is considered. But because this rail line is, although not an active rail line, it's designated in the official plan, so there is the requirement for the noise study in this case.
Could I make a follow-up question?
Sure,
Please?
go ahead.
Question to the applicant: how far is the boundary of part 2 and part 3 from the rail line where there are not existing homes?
Thank you for the question. If you look on the material that's on the screen right now, the rail corridor itself is in the maroon color, going from bottom center to the right-hand side. And from there is a light purple tone, and that is 300 meters wide. And then it's another 280 meters from there to the dividing line between part 1 and part 2 and part 3. So the closest new home to the railway corridor would probably be at least 580 meters and probably in excess of 600 meters on part 2. And part 3, the proposed home is likely going to be close to where the part 3 is shown on part 3 itself. And so we're talking, that's probably about, I would think, in excess of 900 meters. And the existing home on part 1 is probably in excess of 500 meters from the railway corridor itself, because it's in the clear area that's 280 meters wide, and it's near the top end of that. Thank you.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, the new lots are greater than 500 meters from the rail corridor. And then my follow-up question was, and perhaps I missed this, were any of the concerns from city planning related to the highway proximity for a noise study?
The noise study is in relation to the proximity to an arterial road, so the noise study is de facto related to that highway, yes. And that's related to part 3, the proposed severance number 3.
Thank you.
Good questions, members of the panel? Shall we reserve? Yeah. Reserve? It's reserved. Thank you very much, Mr. Robinson.
Thank you for your time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Okay. 4446 Stonecrest. Believe we need a declaration. Xander, what I have to ask you, are you able to give us an oath or solemn declaration?
Mr. Chair, I believe that my client provided the signed declaration to staff yesterday.
Have we got that? We'll just check, Ms. Sandy.
No, Mr. Chair, we did not receive it.
No, staff advised me that we haven't received it.
Okay, and can staff advise if Ms. Matheru has joined the meeting remotely? Because I believe that was her intent.
I don't see anyone. I don't see her.
Okay, she did email me yesterday to tell me she would be joining this morning, Mr. Chair. So if you don't mind, if you can just stand this one down for a moment and I will reach out to her to see if she's here because I cannot take the sign oath for this file.
You can't
Mr.
do
Chair,
that, Ms.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
her client is being brought into the hearing online.
okay. Your client's being brought in.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, you should see the name says Christian on the screen. That is Ms. Matheru, the applicant, and she should be able to take the signage oath for you. Thank you.
I don't see her yet.
If she can turn her camera and microphone on, please.
Yes. I wonder, could you turn your client, could you ask her to turn on her camera and microphone, please? We have to be able to see her and hear her. There we are.
Good morning. I'm
Good
Christian.
morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Sorry, I missed the first part of the signage oath.
Yes, you have to take the signage oath. I understand our staff doesn't have it. So before we can proceed, we need you to take it. Are you able to take that?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and what's your full name, please?
Christian Matheru.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the notice provided by the committee was posted on the property to which the application applies for the prescribed number of days before the hearing as instructed and was clearly visible and legible during that time?
I do.
You swear?
Yes, I do. I swear.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we've gone over that. Ms. Sander, would you like to proceed, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have any detailed description of this. I think it's straightforward and I have no concerns with the staff comments. So unless you'd like me to provide a description, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Planning had a request for an adjournment. I think we've dealt with that. That's in the OP policy. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's relating to the rural severance policies.
Yeah, and then there are 8 conditions. Are they all okay, Ms. Sander?
Yes, I have no concern with the conditions.
Okay, members of the panel, any comments or questions? Can we grant this? Yeah. Okay, granted. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you.
Is that it?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Chair, that is the end.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, all.